Again, I would like to invite all of the participants to drop the questions in the chat box. And then I'll be more than happy to share the question with Pak Muhammad Yahya. So, Pak, we have some of the questions from the Mbak Ida Fitri Anggraini. So the question is, she is currently interested with the religious moderation.
Okay.
For the primary student in Madrasah, is religious moderation one of the way to prevent our education from losing relevance? What do you think, Pak?
Education losing relevance toward what? Sorry, again.
Okay, so for the primary student or
Yes.
in Madrasah, is religious moderation one of the way to prevent our education from losing relevance? So probably Mbak Ida thinks that the religious moderation is the way to prevent losing relevance. Probably we need to elaborate what does it mean by relevance?
That's the
Here.
thing, I don't get it. So if it is
Okay.
like...
So probably can assume, but we can assume that is religious moderation is necessary, especially during pandemic, for example, for the primary students. Or is it has to be only, for example, for the university students, or religious moderation is indeed needed for the student in Madrasah?
You know, religious moderation currently becomes something that is highly highlighted by the Minister of Religious Affairs in Indonesia, and should be applied in all levels, since the religious extremism actually started from our understanding in the cognitive area. So that is the reason why education is play a very pivotal role, because through education, actually, people analyze and understand the teaching of religions. Talal Asad, actually, in his book, Anthropology as Islam, mentioned that Islam is actually about discursive tradition. So it's a matter of transferring knowledge. And after transferring knowledge, people will understand it and act upon it. So moderation, religious moderation is, of course, should be taught in every level of education, starting from the primary school, because this is the beginning process that we should instill in their mind and in their cognition what Islam is really all about. Because Islam wasati, or moderate Islam, is actually the real teaching of Islam. People who change the tenet of Islam into extremism. So if you look at from the real teaching of Islam, it's actually the moderate way of religiosity. So actually teaching religious moderation is actually teaching the real Islam. So the question can be what can be said, like, can be formulated like this. So is it must to teach religions or Islam in the primary school? Of course, the answer is something that is crucial to teach religions in or Islamic teaching in the primary school. So religious moderation is actually the real teaching of Islam. That is, therefore, it should be taught in any level of education. That's, I think, Pak sorry.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak. So now I am actually questioning myself. So with the condition of the pandemic right now, and then the moderation, sometimes parents rely on teachers to teach the moderation. Correct me if I'm wrong. But so the pandemic, you know, makes parents, like it or not, they have to force them to become teachers. So what is the best strategy that you can offer, especially to parents, so that they can not probably instilling, because probably they are fear of doing so, But I believe that you could or just come up with the strategy that the parents can have, especially in having or teaching moderation to the early age or to their kids.
Yes, it is really difficult actually for all parents, because currently they not only being a parent, but also they have to be a teacher, uh, uh, especially for those in the rural areas, when the teacher in the public school are not really teaching actually. So because they just give the well, the task and assignment, and then later on they submit it to the teacher in the school. So teachers, a parent is really work harder than before. So as I showed in diagram or figure, the second figure, it shows that the negative type of parent, why they did not support or look at negatively on the learning from home, because according to them, they did not see the method or the what do you call that learning method to make it easier, understandable for them, because they're coming from the old generation. So when the parent or the teacher give task or assignment or anything, they have so this is a matter of gap between the old generation or the old system of education with the new system of education. If the first type of parent neglect the learning from home because they're busy fulfilling the basic need of the family, but the second type of a parent, because they have lack of knowledge. So this is, I think it is a must for the teacher to give simplest method, or they look at probably they have to give something. I do not know I'm not expert in education, but I think like education method or curriculum or whatever, or lesson plan that is suitable and comprehensible for their parent. I think that's one of the reason parent if want to parent engage in their learning from homes. That's one of the reasons. Second, it is, of course, it's not easy to ask parents to be like a good teacher, particularly in teaching the religious moderation, because teaching religious moderation is not like something that every parent or everyone can teach, because it needs like it needs knowledge, in the proper knowledge, particularly a student currently asking many things, like something that probably parent can answer. That is, I think it's not the obligation for the parent to answer and teach. That's what we understand what the education, because education is actually an obligation from the third party, which is the parent and the school and the society. So I think parents should have a good relationship and communication with the teacher. That's, I think, the best way to teach their kid in any field of study, including the religious moderation. For those who have enough knowledge to teach the religions, I think is a good thing. But for the parent who did not have adequate knowledge for religion, actually, because they don't know how to answer the question on extremism, on war, on so on and so forth, I think it is the best way to have good communication and relationship with the teacher, so that if there is any question or anything related to the religious moderation, he or she can ask the teacher for further elaboration and explanation.
Thank you so much, Pak Yahya. So I believe probably all of the parents who have a lack of knowledge is in the moderation, that's what we talk about. they should go to the right person. And one of them is Pak Muhammad Yahya for sure.